have relocated to a new factory at Woodbridge Bay, Fokole, opposite the port. Telephone 448-0253, 315-1500 and 275-7372. Jack on windows.
Quand Emeline te gagne electrical materials côté APP, her mind back pour l'aite piti en Guambi, elle va moucher boti tenir ti radio rouge, elle va qui dit comment c'est the little man in the radio. Ça fait même tellement sauter inquisitive à l'aise là. Yo dit oh yes, I can see the little man in the radio. Ah, eh ben, là il côté APP, il gagne wire conduits, main switch everything pour mettre light à place là. Elle va dire ma pièce 10 enfants encore, ma gagne job en sac. I want to know how it making the light. Yo dit ma'am, that is for an electrician to do. Electrician, if all you show me how to do it, I can do it myself. Tell me how to put the wire in the main switch. Un customer qui l'a dit, Madame Salah, beta, il a seulement larger bless. Ha, who tell him say that? Emmeline Tanieli, larger bless? Look at me, boy. I am blessed by Jah. I'm not a larger bless. Tout mon côté APP pété en oui. Yes, APP Electrical Travailleux, c'est pour get all the electrical materials that you need as you build and repair.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, a student of the W.S. Stevens Primary School tops round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. The regional meeting of the International Union of Food opens today in Dominica. In news from the region, CARICOM chairman responds to U.S. tariffs. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump not considering pausing tariffs despite global turmoil. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
Yo, what's up? Baby, let's go! Turn your TV on. Listen to DBS on Digicel TV Channel 50 and Flow TV Channel 951.
DBS News.
Welcome back. A student of the W.S. Stevens Primary School has topped round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. 6 schools participated in this afternoon's competition.
Abigail Barron from the Paybush Primary School. Give her a round of applause. 5th, from the Wesley Primary School, Ariane Carbon. 4th, from the Lighthouse Christian Academy, Kaylee Paris. 3rd, Amelia Roll from the Benz Primary School. 2nd, from the Temple SDA, Destiny Lewis. And topping competition 1 in round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition for 2025 is Kyra Bedminster from the W.S. Stevens School.
Coordinator of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition, Kashina Joseph. Meantime, the competition continues tomorrow at the Salbia Primary School, while on Wednesday it will be at Portsmouth, on Thursday it will move to Massac, and on Friday at the Berrien Christian Academy. The regional meeting of the International Union of Foods has opened its 2-day meeting at the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union. Representatives from the Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana and Jamaica are among the 10 countries being represented. President of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Donald Roll, told the opening ceremony the meeting comes at a challenging period for the Caribbean.
You are meeting here in Dominica at a time when the North American new administration is putting some serious concerns on our region, and more in particular some of our Jamaicans and Guyanese and Trinidad brethren. We are almost certain that this union, IUF, will have at some stage to deal with the tariff impact, whether it's for redundancy, whether it's for advocating for better work conditions. But I am almost certain that IUF will have a role to play in stabilizing our economies and our geopolitical stance. You are meeting when there are serious concerns about food security in our region. We, the new generation or the next generation of trade union leaders, must come together. It's imperative that we come together. We cannot fight on our own independently. We surely will fail. But if we come together, the membership of the IUF and its affiliates come together, we have a voice. We have a voice in the region, and we can influence policymakers in North America and further afield. We cannot allow our voices to be silent. We just cannot take that risk, not with what's going on in the region.
President of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Donald Roll. Meantime, Regional President of the International Union of Food, Dwayne Paul, has called on Caribbean governments to honor their pledge and make food security a priority.
During the COVID pandemic, we all saw and heard of many promises and commitments to improving our efforts toward food security and deepening the efforts throughout the region. We've also heard further utterances of this during the last meeting of CARICOM heads of government. But to date, we are yet to see strong actions that will support initiatives throughout the region to bolster food security and therefore reducing our vulnerability. These discussions, in light of the actions taken on the world stage and the changes to trade and international policy, means that our failure to act will inevitably lead to further vulnerability among our people, and particularly the people that we are elected and selected to serve, which is the working class. This cannot be the situation that we leave this beautiful island without addressing. We must ensure that measures are put in place to coordinate, to focus investment, to focus attention on this area of food security.
Regional President of the International Union of Food, Dwayne Paul. The two-day meeting of the International Union of Food takes place at the Wahoo headquarters. Over $6 million is being invested into the 10th program of the Basic Needs Trust Fund. 6 projects have been identified for rehabilitation under the 10th program, with a completion date set for September 30th, 2025.
From inception to now, in Dominica, we have completed 9 programs under BNTF, and we are into our 10th program currently in progress. For BNTF 10, the Central Development Bank approved an amount of Eastern Caribbean dollars $6,572,233 for the implementation of the projects that we have on stream. For these projects implemented, CDB gives a grant contribution of 95% of the total cost, and the government of Dominica provides a counterpart amount of 5%. So for BNTF 10, the government has to provide a total of $328,612, and in addition, pay the VAT on the total allocation. Presently, we have 6 projects ongoing island-wide. We have the Pay Bush Water Enhancement Project. The next project is the Daly playing field upgrade and grassing of the entire playing field. We also have the Berian Christian Academy Extension, our 3rd project. The Grand Bay Dubic Multipurpose Facility, our 4th project, our 5th project. The Trafalgar Basketball Facility Upgrade. And we have the Clifton Back Road Refurbishment. The Warner Water Tank and Drip Irrigation System was also added to our BNTF 10 projects.
Minister for Community Development, Greta Roberts. Meantime, Project Manager of the Basic Needs Trust Fund, Matthew Carrett, says the BNTF program in Dominica has progressed over the years.
The project has evolved over the years. So what started simply as, or merely as, renovation works following the passage of Hurricane David And there's a lot to be done because we all know the devastation that was caused, back in the day. So the first 3 phases really focus a lot on renovation work, repairs, for the most part. But then it is considered CDB's flagship poverty reduction program. So CDB saw the need to have greater involvement of the communities in the projects. So from BNTF 5, the whole focus shifted from what is considered the top-down approach, where most of the projects were projects which came from the government, to what is referred to as the bottoms-up approach. And the bank uses the fancy term, the participatory approach to community development. They use those fancy words, socially inclusive. But the idea of that was to have great empowerment from the community.
Project Manager of the Basic Needs Trust Fund, Matthew Carrett. Meanwhile, a team from the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, will arrive in Dominica today for a 1-week visit. The team will look at current and prospective projects to be undertaken while in Dominica. In other news, a stock farm woman and her daughter were granted bail in the sum of $10,000 following their appearance at the magistrate's court. Adama Shillingford faces 4 charges, while 2 charges were brought against her juvenile daughter in connection with an incident on April 4 at Riverbank in Roseau.
46-year-old Shillingford is accused of battery on a minor, possession of a black-handled silver blade knife, assault on a minor by splashing a liquid substance, namely alkali, into the victim's eyes, and aiding and abetting her daughter in the commissioning of an offense by assisting her in splashing the alkali on a minor. Initially, Shillingford pleaded guilty to the charge of possession of an offensive weapon. However, following consultation with her attorney, Zena Mordaya, she changed her plea to not guilty on all 4 of the charges. The prosecution did not object to bail, but requested that proper surety be provided. The defense then proposed Shillingford's 28-year-old son, Dulani Alphos, as her proposed surety. Police prosecutor Inspector Banis questioned whether the son of that age could exercise adequate control over his mother. However, the defense argued that the proposed surety had no criminal convictions, was disciplined, and could effectively fulfill the responsibilities required. The attorney asked the court to conduct an assessment of the proposed surety before making a ruling. Presiding Magistrate Hansel Valerie, despite expressing initial reservation, agreed to conduct the assessment. Following the review, Alphas was deemed a fit and proper person to stand bail for his mother. Regarding the bail amount, the court initially set the bail sum at $15,000, but after further arguments from the defense, the amount was reduced to $10,000. As part of a bail condition, Shillingford was ordered to report to the Roseau Police Station once weekly. The matter was adjourned to July 18, 2025 for the commencement of the trial. Meanwhile, the 14-year-old also pleaded not guilty to 2 summary charges of assault on 2 minors by spraying a liquid substance, namely alkali, into their eyes during the same incident on April 4th. The juvenile was granted bail in the sum of $10,000 with no conditions attached, with her brother as her surety. The accused is scheduled to return to the juvenile's court on April 9, 2025 for the commencement of her trial. Ronaldo Luke reporting for DBS News.
Our thanks to Ronaldo Luke for that report. On the feature segment of the evening news, Dubla farmer Clement Augustus Charles takes the spotlight. Mr. Charles farms at Milton in the height of Dubla and began farming at the age of 16. Clement Augustus Charles is our feature on the DBS Evening News.
I started farming at the tender age of 16, walking up from Dubla to Milton. When I started farming, there was no road, no chainsaw, no fork. It's pickaxe I used to dig holes. I started selling bananas at Milton at 3 cents a pound of banana by bunch up at Milton. When I saw it was not paying me, I left farming and I went to work in Government Road, 1969. When I worked for government, when they were cutting the road, I started digging, making drill at Point Kwabi with pickaxe. Then I said, in that hot sun, it's not worth me. So I left it, and I came back on my farm because I didn't want to work for people. After again, I left it again, and I started working on the road again as a carpenter. I work on Dubla Bridge, Point Young Bridge, TB Bridge, and I left TB, and I went to work with Jeff Joe father, Kimos Joseph. I went to work at Roger, on the Roger Dam. And from there, I came back in farming. I left where I was, and I came down where I am presently working, October 1969. I was working higher up Milton, in a little area. Then I left up there, and I came down where I am presently, October 1969. And it's there I am from that time.
Dubla farmer Clement Augustus Charles. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Yo, what's up? Baby, let's go! Turn your TV on. Listen to DBS on Digicel TV Channel 50 and Flow TV Channel 951.
In news from the region, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley has warned the people of the Caribbean the tariffs imposed by the United States would impact everyone. In her capacity as chairman of CARICOM, Mottley said the region was too small to have an impact on their economy.
These small and micro states of the Caribbean do not in any way or in any sector enjoy a greater degree of financial benefit in the balance of trade than does the United States. In fact, it is because of our small size, our great vulnerability, our limited manufacturing capacity, our inability to distort trade in any way, that successive United States administrations, including and most recently the Reagan administration in the early 1980s, went to great lengths to assist us in promoting our abilities to sell in the United States under the Caribbean Basin Initiative. We will see how these tariffs will impact on that. That spirit of cooperation largely enabled security, social stability, and economic growth on America's third border in the Caribbean, or as we have agreed as recently in our meeting with Secretary of State Rubio, what is now our collective neighborhood. Secondly, we must not fight among each other for political gain, because, my dear brothers and sisters, as the old adage goes, united we stand, and divided we fall. I say simply to President Trump, our economies are not doing your economy any harm in any way. They are too small to have any negative or distorting impact on your country. So I ask you to consider your decades-long friendship between your country and ours, and look to the Caribbean, recognizing that the family ties, yes, are strong. Let us talk, I hope, and let us work together to keep prices down for all of our people.
Barbados Prime Minister and CARICOM Chair Mia Mottley. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump says he has no plans to pause global tariffs as the world's stock markets experience another turbulent day. Speaking to reporters, Trump reiterates that he will impose an extra 50% tariff on Beijing if it does not withdraw its levy by midday tomorrow. If imposed, it could leave some U.S. companies bringing in certain goods from China facing a 104% tax. That's news at the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report, and we're bold enough with cricket news. The defending Windward Islands under-19 cricket champions Grenada, well, they made light work out of Dominica, picking up their first win of the tournament today. Well, Dominica suffered a meltdown with the bat as they were sent crashing to the heavy defeat. Grenada batted first and they made 220 for 8 in their 50 overs. Kurt Murray got 51 and Kirsten Murray 44 for Grenada. Jason Vidal picked up 2 for 17 and Malinga Bruni 2 for 26 for Dominica. While Dominica in reply were bowled out for 101 runs in 31.2 overs, and thus chasing 221 to win. Rocinio Fountain, he top scored with 44, but nobody else made any big scores. Kristen Murray, he took 1 for 18 and Kurt Murray 1 for 10. Grenada won that match by 119 runs. Well, in the other match today, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they picked up their first win of the tournament as they beat St. Lucia. Well, let's move on to some football news as the DFA president Glenn Etienne says that the FIFA for Schools program will help empower student athletes using football to help them advance in education. Well, the FIFA for Schools program was launched this morning at Windsor Park. The workshop is targeting a number of sports officers and physical education officers. It's being facilitated by FIFA's Football for Schools manager, Antonio Buenano.
Today marks not just the beginning of a workshop, but the continuation of a journey towards using football as a tool for education, inclusion, and character building. The FIFA Football for School program aligns perfectly with the vision of the Dominica Football Association to develop the game from the grassroots level while empowering our children with life skills that extend beyond the field. This program helps bridges to powerful institutions, education, and sports together. They form the foundation of national building. Through this initiative, football becomes more than a game. It becomes a classroom without walls, a space where young people learn teamwork, discipline, perseverance, and respect. These are not just sporting values, they are life values. And when taught at an early age, they shape the kind of citizens we hope to see leading our communities in the future. This workshop is also a call to action for the teachers and the coaches among us. Your role is central. You are not only instructors, but also role models and mentors.
And that's the DFA President Glenn Etienne. Meantime, Assistant Chief Education Officer Nadia Farrell says the Ministry of Education has endorsed the program.
We are thrilled to see that this initiative is actually coming to life. A powerful blend of sports and education that supports the development of our schools, not just academically, but socially and emotionally as well. Football for School is more than just a game. It's a tool for teaching the life skills, building character, and encouraging teamwork, discipline, and resilience to our young people. We strongly encourage all schools across the island to embrace this program and get involved. Let us take full advantage of this opportunity to engage our students in meaningful ways, on the field and in the classroom. When students are active and involved, they are more confident and more motivated and better prepared for life's challenges. To our principals, the teachers, and the coaches, your role is vital. With your guidance, this program can truly make a difference in the lives of our students.
And that's the Assistant Chief Education Officer, Nadia Farrell. Let's move on to basketball as there were wins for the defending girls' schools basketball champions, the Portsmouth Secondary School, while the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School student, Meshach Debole, had another big game to lead the ITSS to a win in the boys' division. Our sports officer, Yudi John, has the story.
2 games were played in the secondary schools under 20 basketball championship organized by the sports division at the Massacre in the facility this afternoon. In the girls division, the Northeast Comprehensive School went down to the PSS 15 points to 19. For the Portsmouth Secondary School, Lima Airford scored 11 points, while Danico Harriet and Caleb Prince both had 4 points for the Northeast Comprehensive School girls. In the boys division, the ITSS defeated the NCS boys 58 points to 51. For the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, Mishak Dubule continued with his masterful performances, scoring 39 points. And he was supported by Jaden Stewart with 11 points, while Danny Harriet had 18 points and Nickel Mills 14 points for the Northeast Comprehensive School.
And that was Sports Officer Yudi John. Well, let's go back to cricket news. The West Indies women went down by 5 wickets to Pakistan in their final warm-up match ahead of the World Cup qualifiers in Pakistan this morning. The West Indies women won the toss and opted to bat first. They posted just 188 for 8 in their 50 overs. Shakiba Ganabi, she hit 68 not out, and Janila Glasgow got 41. Well, Pakistan made light work out of the run chase, getting 192 for 5. The West Indies, they ended the warm-up phase with a win over Ireland and a defeat to Pakistan. The West Indies will face Scotland in their opening match of the World Cup qualifiers on Wednesday. And of course, the West Indies have been grouped with Scotland, Thailand, Ireland, Pakistan and Bangladesh. The top 2 teams will advance to the World Cup. In some volleyball news this evening, well, the defending men's champions in the KFC National Volleyball League Club 1 registered another win as they swept the Celtics as that competition continued last weekend, where Club 1 took the match 25-20, 25-21 and 25-17. Meantime, Club 1 also registered a win in 4 sets over the Celtics in the women's division. They took that game 25-21, 25-18, 21-25 and 25-17. And in the men's division 2, well, another win for Club 1, this time beating the Falcons, who forfeited the match. Let's go back again to cricket news as Cricket West Indies has announced that they have withdrawn a 4-match suspension against the Jamaican Scorpions captain John Campbell. Well, Campbell had been suspended following the regional Super 50 overs finals last year when Jamaica and Barbados failed to take to the field. Well, Campbell's suspension has been withdrawn following the outcome of the disciplinary tribunal last weekend. During the proceedings, the tribunal took the view that the procedure of bringing the charge was flawed and the matter therefore could not be heard. As a result of the tribunal's findings and in the interest of consistency, Cricket West Indies says that they will not pursue any further disciplinary action against the Barbados captain as well, Raymond Reefer. The tribunal did not issue any ruling on the matter of the prize money or the match fees arising from the finals, and Cricket West Indies said that they will withhold all disbursements to both teams due to the final match not taking place. In some football news this evening, the undefeated league champion Central Cooperative Credit Union Jubla FC and undefeated Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers, well, they played to a tense draw on Saturday as the DFA Premier League continued last weekend. Bombers managed to snatch a late goal as they held the defending champions at bay on their home ground at Almond Park in Jubla. The game finished at 2-2. Marcus Breeders and Chad Bertrand scored for Jubla, while Tyrese Carbon and Antoine Larocque got the goals for the Bombers. Meantime, in the East Derby yesterday, Valvoline Way United, they beat Connect 767 Courts Ready Cash East Central 2-1. Kian Thomas and Leon Edwards scored for Way United, while Nathan Newton converted for East Central. In some more results, Middleham United and Sagicor Southeast, well, they played to a 2-2 draw. Deron James and Yannick George scored for the Southeast, while Mosiah Michel and Josima Gustav netted for Middleham United. And in some other results, the Belfast Estate Mahusuka Strikers, well, they put 6 goals past Petro Caribe Point Michel. A national player, Damario Challenger, got a hat-trick as Mahu won the game 6-1. Francis Luke also got 2 goals and Edison Dennis scored for the Mahu team, while Point Michel benefited from an own goal. And it was a real tough weekend for the Point Michel-based teams as DSFC, they too conceded 6 goals in their match against Promex Harlem United. National player Dante Warrington registered a beaver trick. That's 4 goals as Promex Harlem United handed the newcomers DSFC their 4th straight defeat. DSFC went down in that game 6-1. Well, let's bring you some netball news now as Dominica will be hoping for a change in fortunes as they continue with action in the Jean Pierre Youth Netball Tournament today in Barbados. Well, Dominica will take on the host country, Barbados, tonight at 8 o'clock in their next game. Of course, this is coming off a 34-19 defeat to Grenada in their opening match. So Dominica going down last night to Grenada, 34-19. And the national team, the national under-16 team, will play Barbados tonight. That game gets underway at 8 o'clock. And let's quickly bring you some cycling news, as Gidson Marius was the first to cross the line as he blew past the competition in the second road race organized by the Dominica Cycling Association yesterday. The race took the riders from Marbois Bar to Layu and back twice. Marius broke away from the pack early on the second lap, and he never looked back as he won the race in a convincing time of 1 hour, 37 minutes and 56 seconds.
The race was very hard on the win as well. We had headwind and crosswind as well. So the boy was really strong. I can say that for sure. But I already knew I was coming for the win. So I just do what I can do. So I just take the win. Yeah.
Let's talk about this strategy, because you stayed back with the pack and then you really made a push on this second lap. So let's talk me through the game plan there.
Well, the plan was stay behind Daddy Chess, because Daddy Chess is, I can say Daddy Chess is the stronger rider. So, and when Easiel attack, nobody answer. I know if Ronald, not Ronald, Chester had respond behind him, everybody will respond. So the fact that Daddy Chess did not respond, so I stay behind the pack. Then when Stefan attack coming towards Tong up Massac Hill, that was a strong attack, but Daddy Chess did not respond, and the rest as well did not respond. So my plan was stay behind Chester when Chester attacked, so I can just make my way. And when I feel that Chester die, so I say, well, that is my moment for me to shine. So I just take the lead and then I just jump them and then.
And that was elite rider and the overall winner yesterday, Gidson Marius. Of course, Stefan Carbon, he finished in second place overall. Daddy Chester later, he won the Masters division in a time of 1 hour, 40 minutes and 51 seconds. We also had Russ Semper winning the junior division and Rachel Semper winning the female category. And the mountain bike division, well, that was won by Peterson Marius in a time of 1 hour, 14 minutes and 2 seconds. And Blue Lions, well, they're still celebrating. Remember, they walked away with $3,000 cash last night and trophies and medals, as they were the last team standing in the Kenny G Small Goal Football Tournament. The two-day festival, sponsored by the Roseau Central MP Melissa Skerritt, ended last night at the Windsor Park forecourt. And of course, Blue Lions, they beat Boissa 2-0 in the finals. Blue Lions captain is Raheem Laron.
Well, as we know, we're going in as the underdogs already, because when we reach, or let's say recruits, but that never breaks us, because we know what we have inside us. So we came out tonight and show them who we are.
Boissa, had a big game in the semi-finals, so how did you sort of prepare for them for the finals? How did you keep them quiet?
Well, as a footballer, I'm young, but I have plenty experience. I know they couldn't beat me. Trust me. And I know my team, and my team went maintain. We winning it tonight, and we came out, and we did that.
All right, let's talk about this tournament and what it did in terms of bringing people together in Roseau. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I love it, Gavin. To be honest with you, I love it. The local environment, the place, it's nice. And the turnout was great. I like that. We mean to do that more, to bring the youth and everybody together, because that is who we are. We are one.
And that was the Blue Lions captain, Raheem Laron. Of course, the event was also supported by the Dominica Football Association and Digicel. Well, that's where we'll come to the end of the DBS Evening Sports Report. Of course, we'll have a lot more sporting highlights for you tomorrow morning during the major morning news. On behalf of the entire news and sports departments, our links person, DJ Hillowboy, and of course, Leila Langford, who presented the news, I'm Gavin Richards saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.